Right, Dominique's not here yet. Let's wait a minute. She accepted the invite like an hour ago, so she should be here. All right, thanks.
This conference will now be recorded.
Unless, Steve, if you want to start the meeting as vice chair.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
Somebody's signing on now. Hi, Dominic. Whenever you're ready, we're ready to go. Can you hear us, Dominic? Looks like your audio's off, Dominic. All right, she's having some computer difficulties, so. Yeah.
No, it's on her end.
I did send Dominique a note in the chat, just telling her speakers were off.
I just let her know she can call it on her phone for the audio. If he doesn't figure it out in a minute, I'll ask Steve to run it for the time being. Steve, do you want to get the meeting going while we're waiting for Dominique?
Sure. All
Right,
right.
Chris, whenever you're ready, we'll get going.
Okay. So let's do a roll call, see who's here. Nathan, are you here?
Present.
Scott, are you here? Scott?
He's signed in.
I'm here.
Okay. Mark, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. And Dominique is having some technical issues. And I'm here, so Steve Chambers. Adam, you're here. Is there anyone else that needs to be here?
Oh, just cable staff's here.
Excellent. So can you bring up the agenda? I don't have it in front. Oh, here's Dominique.
Sorry about that.
All right, Dominique, we just did a roll call. So everyone's here. You were the last one. If you want to take the meeting from here, you're more than welcome.
All right, thank you very much. I received an email about a script if there were any bystanders listening on. I'll go ahead and read that script. I think it's required for any online meeting. Have you heard of that, Adam?
We've been doing it for the regulatory meetings.
Okay,
This being a little less formal than the regulatory meetings I hadn't included it in the past.
okay, so it's not a big deal.
If you want to run through it, if you were sent it, then you can. Just-
All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll fly through this script. This open meeting of the town of Auburn is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, which suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, during the current state of emergency, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely as reasonably public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless participation is required by law. This meeting will allow for public comment under agenda items. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, we dialed the number that you've indicated, but I don't think there's anyone trying to call in, Adam. The governor's order, along with all supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body, are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. As a preliminary matter, this is Dominique Cairns, chair of the commission, the committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons are anticipated on the agenda and are present who have already been called to roll. You already performed the roll call?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
all right, thank you. That's over. The meeting is now called to order. Shall we start with some old business? Maybe the first item on the agenda is not the meeting minutes, but I wanted to ask a question about the meeting minutes and whether or not we approved those minutes that were dated back to 6/3/2019. Did we not vote on those last time?
Yes, you're right. We did all. Those were left on accidentally.
And I think we also voted on 11/2 and 12/7, but maybe I'm wrong.
Don't think I ever received those.
Okay, all right.
You didn't get those, Adam? I saw them on the agenda, so I didn't even double check. I only have my work laptop with me right now, but I will forward them over. I apologize. I saw them on the agenda and assumed that you'd received them.
No, I don't see. I'm just checking the file. No, I haven't received them.
Okay. I'll follow up. I apologize.
All right, so first item to discuss on the agenda was the survey results.
Okay, so I can kind of run through this if you'd like. Everybody had a chance to kind of review what I sent over last week. We've had 190 responses. So I thought that was pretty good.
Mhm.
Last week I managed to compile the results into kind of a mostly graphs, and all of the comments as comments, just kind of consolidated it a bit. So if we want to take each of the questions and run through them, we can do that. So the first question was, how often do you visit the recreational areas? And we had the list of the various items. Kind of interpret this how you'd like, but the most visited, I don't think as much of a surprise, is the Pappas complex in Lemansky Fields, followed by the high school. The others, you can see the yellow and the blue, never weren't aware they existed. So there's some of the small locations aren't visited or people don't know about. So that's something that we can try to improve upon. So 3 favorite recreational open space facilities. Again, I don't think it's much of a surprise. The Pappas complex and the biggest with 30, followed by the high school and Lemansky Park, and the rest were 5% or less.
Mhm.
Again, that's out of 190, so 152 people thought Pappas complex was their favorite.
Mhm.
Overall satisfaction was okay. The yellow is unsatisfied. The blue and the orange is somewhat or very satisfied. So I think, without going through each one of these lines, I think in general people want to see some improvements in the conditions and the variety of different open space and recreational facilities.
Mhm.
The upkeep maintenance. And the green, people weren't aware of the area. So then these are some of the smaller, more neighborhood type parks and fields. But overall, it seemed like people thought the maintenance and upkeep was pretty good. And that's thanks to the DPW for keeping those facilities in good order. If you have questions or comments, feel free to interrupt me. So this is the quadrant question. Most people seem to want some kind of development, whether it's passive or active development, particularly around quadrant A, which was, if I recall correctly with the map, I can pull up the map. Quadrant A was the northwest side, which that's more the natural open space, the fields and such. Not a whole lot of neighborhoods, which most likely is why there weren't so many like the neighborhood fields. Or there aren't any schools except for the middle school. Actually, the middle school is I think in that's quadrant C. So the big winner seems to be the hiking trails, walking trails. That got a lot of response in the comments. Bike trails were pretty popular too at 19%. People want to see those improved.
What was the
Community
percentage of hiking?
Walking hiking trails. About 25% of the respondents would like to see that expanded upon. There's only the one trail that I'm aware of right now, down the back of the Pappas complex. I guess it's pretty steep, so it's not suitable for everybody. Sorry, what was that? This is the water activities. The two biggest responses were the kayak and canoe center, kayak and canoe launch, and lakefront swimming. So kayak and canoe launch, that seems to be pretty popular. They both had the same amount, 23%. The indoor pool only had 11%, where the splash pad had 17%.
Adam, have you reviewed the Goddard Park survey, and are people talking about swimming or a avenue in there?
I haven't seen any initial results off of that yet. That's something I need to do, follow up. That survey is open until the end of the month. Yeah, I'll definitely follow up on that for the next meeting.
Okay. Anyone watching, take the survey, please.
Absolutely. It is kind of a neat survey. Pretty even across the board. People want to preserve historic buildings, places of historic value, just in general open space. Well, that was pretty much even across the board. So people want to see better improvement of removing invasive plants. Not sure. So over a third was not sure. So that may be an education piece that the town could work on. I mean, there was a percent, 10%, 6% said no. So 75% like to see more green infrastructure used. So that's a good sign. I think that's something we can work on going forward as a town to make sure new development, we can try to encourage green infrastructure. So town social media and the town website were the two big methods of communication. The other is kind of not so well viewed. So we'll maintain that method of outreach, and we'll still do the other stuff also. So most people lived a long time in the town that took the survey, 10 to 20 plus years. Household size is kind of mixed, with 4 being about a third. Age, the biggest response was 35 to 44-year-olds, followed by 45 to 54-year-olds. And there are a lot of comments. I'm going to read through all of them, but there's some good current encouragements and some complaints, which we'll take all comments, obviously. So if you want to pick out any or discuss
Adam,
any.
Yeah, I do think the survey results kind of show, again, people looking for the walking and biking trails as well. Quite a few comments in there, as well as, I think some of the comments around like the no, there is still a concern for not wanting tax dollars to go up. I think there was a comment in that. And I know we tried to make it clear that this survey was, not looking for money, and we were really trying to get people to say what they'd like. And I'm a little bit saddened that there's still that undertone, but looks like we had pretty good results.
Is there a way to share the results in a uniform format, Adam?
How so?
At least with committee members, or maybe even the comments, so we could take more time with them, or is there just that one page of comments?
There's several pages of comments. I don't know. There's probably 7 or 8 pages of comments. I did share this Word document with everybody last week.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Okay. Thank you.
It was in the meeting invite.
Okay. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. And this will be an appendix in the open space plan. I may scatter some of the figures throughout the text of the plan itself. I can try to compile the comments a little bit differently, but all of it will be included in the final product.
Having read through it, are there any comments that really jump out to anybody?
There's still some people looking for a swimming or a splash pad option. So definitely, again, talked about that as well as the bike trails and walking trails. I mean, those seem to be the big winners. There's definitely a lot to be gleaned from each and every comment. Obviously, we can't solve for anything, but it does help support a lot of what came about. Adam, I would love to see the percentages. I know it shows all in relative on the pie charts, but not knowing exactly what those numbers were, it was a little bit hard for me to make some assumption. You know, you don't want to solve for the 1%, but you do want to hear about it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Now, I can add that part of the goal of the survey is to set the goals and objectives and the action plan. So, you know, obviously people want walking trails, and you mentioned some kind of water activity. I mean, those are pretty specific goals that should be included. They can, you know, kind of be expanded upon, or, you know, we can discuss where you think they should go. But this should really guide the committee's creation of the goals and objectives, which is really the next phase of the planning. So I would ask everybody to just take some time, and if you haven't already, and maybe draw up a list of 5 or 8 goals, objectives that you can pull from the survey. I don't want to be, you know, I can kind of, this is your plan. I'm just putting it together. I don't want to just give you my goals, because it's the committees and the town's plan.
So as we work through those two, I think we do want to consider the quadrants, and based on some of the results, where it fits best, and try to respond in a manner that, you know, tries to solve for both the adding or the activities or the open space usage, and then where it fits within each quadrant, and try to look and see if we can prioritize certain areas over others.
There was another document I included in the meeting invite that goes through the 2014 goals. I don't know if anybody's looked at that or seen that, but pull it up. It kind of I broke down every goal objective in the 14 plan, listed its status, kind of pulled forward what I thought should be continued on, like the aquifer bylaw. That's a higher priority for us. That was last changed in the 80s, so it's due to be updated. So, you know, high priority. Who's responsible? So town planner, planning board, water district, DPW, and timeline. So I'd encourage you to go through this document also. You can kind of see what was considered in the past and where to go forward in the future. So there's quite a few goals and objectives from the last time around. 29 of them.
And
A lot of them are
Adam, on the action plan itself, that's the roll forward, is that correct?
both of them, both the goals and objectives and action plan. The goals and objectives is more broad. goals are more broad. The action plan is a little more specific. So there's there'll be two separate chapters in the final plan. One is for goals and objectives, one is for the action plan. And there is maybe a little bit of repetitiveness, but it's state required.
And the highlighted items are ones you were looking specifically for, or you just left for us to decide?
No, I kind of highlighted those, so I need more information from somebody that's been here longer than I have, DPW or the town manager.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
How is the priority assigned? The level of priority being low or high or medium?
Just my assumption.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I pulled out of 2014 was the goal itself, or the objective itself. Everything else I added. I can tell you for example, the Trails Committee. I don't think there's any plan for a Trails Committee. That was never done. I didn't see a need to carry it forward. You could have some other committee, whether it's this committee or another committee, carry forward that task if you want to have something formal. So it's just kind of my thoughts.
So when we go to look at this, Adam, you want just a little bit more specific feedback about how to move forward with ideas. For instance, goal 2, like you said, a local trails committee, how to move forward with maybe the connection to the survey results, or
Yes.
how do you want us to evaluate this?
Yeah, I'd start by reviewing the survey results to get a sense of how people feel now. And then I go through the spreadsheet and kind of see how people thought, and then is there something new that strikes your mind, something that you think that was really good in 2014 that we should keep doing? Should be, I mean, it could be as simple as future or action for going forward in the 2021 plan is pursue grants to expand the trail network. I mean,
Nice.
we could.
That was a lot of work.
No problem. But yeah, the goal. I don't want to be writing all the goals and objectives. This is a community plan, and I would value the committee's feedback on this. I don't want me just throwing stuff down what I think is good. Some of the stuff I think came out of some of the stuff's going to come out of the 2019 master plan. Is going to be, I think, a lot of the goals from the 14 open space ended up in the 19 master plan. But double check on those. There's some land use goals in the master plan that should probably be considered for the open space plan, but I can touch upon those later.
Very good.
And again, with priority ongoing, are we considering, like, because it's ongoing, it's a high priority, it's in action? Or is it something we want to try to prioritize if it's not ongoing?
Well, if you're looking at this first one, finalize and enforce stormwater management regulations. There's a stormwater committee that we meet about once a month or so. It's a public meeting. Myself, someone from DPW, Board of Health, a couple of people from DPW, the water district, are updating the regulations in the bylaw. This is like an EPA kind of mandate. So we're ongoing working on it. We need to complete the bylaw update, which is very high. The EPA has a deadline of June 30th, I want to say, this year. But we still want to keep moving forward with enforcing them. So it's kind of ongoing in that respect. So we're never going to really stop enforcing and monitoring the stormwater issues. So I guess the 1 year timeline is more for the updating the regulations than anything. So I mean, the next one, the conservation agent, there's been talk of that going back to the 80s, I want to say. far as I know, the towns that are hired one, and maybe we'll still find some room in the budget to hire one, but that may or may not happen. That's dependent on other factors. Feel free to change what you think should be changed. I'm way off base. Please tell me.
So in that realm, should we just add another column? I mean, again, I don't think any of us want to do anything unilaterally here. But certainly have no problem putting my thoughts in around some of those. So should we just create a separate column for each person's comments?
That'll be fine. Yeah, if you want to just add your comments into that column G and you send them to me, I'll compile it and I can send it back out.
Excellent, that works. Thanks.
Want to avoid, emailing group emails.
Adam, there was some mention last time we spoke at last meeting that someone from the water district might be present today. Is that still the case?
No, he was not available today. He said he'd make the next meeting, so I have him on for the May
3rd.
4th, 3rd.
Yeah. Great.
Mark, do you mind if I put you on the spot and see if
Yeah.
there's anything you remember from the previous plans that?
Well, the big thing was walking trails and bike trails. Some people wanted I think we were working on paths back then too, maybe. I'm not sure. That might have been completed, maybe. Walking the trail back there. I think we worked on that.
Okay. So some development since that last plan, but again, still looks like a lot of people are looking for that. So
Yeah, I think it was
awesome.
bike trails. I don't know where you put it. We had a couple residents that wanted that.
Yeah, I can, the bike trails, if they're bike paths on the roadways, those are a little more difficult to work in. Those can be pretty costly trying to redo a road. But if you're gonna have them like off-road, like have a joint bike trail, walking trail, somewhere that's a bit more feasible.
I wonder if you could do it behind. I wonder if you could do it behind the middle school.
Yeah,
Bike trails.
yes, Mark, thank you. That's definitely on the radar. That's a possibility.
And connecting
Okay.
to the Blackstone across the way in Millbury, even that bikeway, that might not be feasible because of the crossing of the road and having to use the roadway for some stretch of that. Would it be just too costly or too dangerous? What's the concern with that connection?
I don't think we've investigated it enough. It would probably be maybe both, maybe neither. I think it would depend on what's feasible. I think that's a study to see what is feasible might be a good grant project going forward. Try to find some funds to see how can Auburn connect to the bike path. It is in we were talked about it with the Blackstone corridor, one of the groups, the what was it, Narragansett Estuary Program, mentioned at one of their meetings. So it's being talked about. It's a matter of lining up some funding to do the study. That's not in my expertise to do that kind of study.
Who's in charge of requesting grant money? Is there someone in charge of grants, or do you write the grant proposals?
It's pretty much everybody that is grant proposals. I've done a couple. I've worked with economic development coordinator with a couple. DPW applies to a law, and we kind of sometimes work together on some of them. Everybody is kind of encouraged to apply for grants. So there's a construction project going on at Burlington Wayside today that was because of a grant.
Is anyone well versed in grant writing on this committee besides you, Adam?
I'll
Steve,
say no. I'm not.
I'm not, no.
Certainly
It would-
can help. You know, there's a lot that goes into it, I'm sure, and I think that's part of what these committees do help is put the plan together, and it allows them to go for the funding, because a lot of times without the planning you're not going to be eligible for it, and I think we have to, as a town, on everything, really be ready for that when grant money is available, and then go hard when we identify what needs to take place.
I mean, most grants are pretty competitive, and it's more time consuming than anything. I mean, some towns, the committees will often be the ones spearheading a specific project if they're really passionate about, say the Blackstone connection or the bike path, walking trail behind the middle school. That could, if you're aware of grants, I think, not saying go apply without letting the town know, but some towns give the committees that authorization.
Huh.
I mean, if you hear of something, let us know. We'll look into it.
Sure. My issue with the bike path, I mean, I'm all for a bike path being developed in Auburn. I would really be happy about that. I think going small and then later connecting to the Blackstone might be problematic, just because you'd spend a little bit of money here only to become a little bit redundant and maybe blown away by any sort of development later on. And then the small bits that we may have produced wouldn't be really considered that great long term. So, the investment really needs to be effective long term as well as in the short term, and I wouldn't want to be too hasty in saying let's put something behind the middle school unless it really hits all the nails on the head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's definitely potential behind the middle school and connecting with Oxford and the other trails. So again, I think part of that long-term plan and getting that together, I think, will help. And again, I think it touches on a quadrant that people were looking for more use there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you do have that big development going in now that will add a lot of residents to that area.
And how about thoughts on the swimming or water use? I'm actually surprised by the kayak canoe launch feedback, but how about the splash pad or the waterways? Does anyone have any new insights regarding that response rate?
So I think some of the comments around it were really town only use. I think I saw that a few times. So again, I know the pool was brought before the voters and was not approved. So I mean, I think this is definitely a potential to look at something on a smaller scale. And the reason I brought up Goddard Park is there was part of that survey, where people, you could be asked about a sandy entrance or picnic area, that type of stuff. So looked like some potential options, again, not a splash pad, but potential water type options there.
Would you be able to swim there?
I think you can swim anywhere there's water, but to do it safely, and I don't know if it's recommended or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the water quality is of that pond. I suppose swim at your own risk.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, Adam, did you have more to say about the MVP project if we move forward on that action item or the Goddard Park survey?
The MVP project, yes, April 17th, that's a Saturday from 9 to 1. We are planning a community event at the high school at the baseball field. It's going to be kind of a story walk. Everything's going to be separated for the COVID protocols and such. It's going to be focused around water quality. This is part, like I said, the MVP project should be focused on the Leesville Pond is what is the target, but it's all water quality. It's generally all good water quality practices, making sure the water is clean. You're not infringing upon your water quality. Using too much fertilizer. Pick up your dog waste, that kind of thing. Whenever it rains, all that stuff gets washed away and right down into the rivers. I don't know if anybody saw it. I'm not sure if it was posted on Facebook or something. There was a blue dye leak by Sword Street, I believe it was. I could be wrong with the location. That the truck, I guess, broke or what it was carrying.
Yeah.
Bunch of blue dye went right into the waterway, and you could see it flowing on downstream. It was it was not a good situation, but it's a good teachable moment about you can visually see what happens when things go into the water. So I'm gonna try to find that video and see if we can share that. But anything that falls on the ground can get washed away.
Adam, is there a target audience for that? Is it suitable for young kids as well as those that are a lot older?
I mean, obviously they're welcome. I'm not sure. I don't think that's really the specific target. I don't want to discourage. I mean, it's an educational piece. There'll be poster boards it'll be like a 10 or 12 poster boards with a different topic, a different best practice or smart practice. Some handouts. I'm going to invite the Blackstone Watershed Association. I don't know if they'll be able to attend or not, and we're going to invite some other parties to see if they want to have a spaced out table. So I don't know if they might have handouts or something. I don't know. We're still kind of organizing right now, but I encourage you to spread the word. I'll have a flyer, hopefully as soon as tomorrow, that can go out. I can share with the committee. But that's a major aspect of that grant. It's kind of like the big hurrah for the education piece. There's still engineering tasks to be done, but this is an important education piece.
And then, I'm sorry.
When do you think you replace the pipes under Sword Street?
Well, we need to find the funding for that. That's a $1 million project, multi-million-dollar project, most likely. The engineering pieces are kind of to get us set up to take the next step to continue any engineering and to hopefully put us in a better shape to get some of those funds. So construction itself is probably still a ways out.
Okay.
Earth Day, were there any updates to plans for educational pieces for Earth Day and Cleanup Day? Is that going forward?
Well, the MVP is kind of the Earth Day adjacent, I guess.
Okay.
The town cleanup is going to be in the fall. I don't know what the dates of that yet. I think September was what was mentioned, but I don't know which weekend.
Okay.
I can get those dates.
Okay, is there any further business or should we make a motion to adjourn?
Oh, we skipped over one important item.
Oh,
The listening session or forum is item number 3.
oh, okay.
That's the part that does the second and last public outreach for the plan. My thought is to have all the goals and objectives compiled for before May 17th is the day I'm looking at. It's a Monday, I don't say 6 p.m. Monday night. This day can change. I'm certainly not set in stone, but kind of want to set a date soon to present to the public. This is what we have for goals and objectives. This is what the survey said, and those in attendance, it'll probably be virtual. Those in attendance can give their feedback. Committee.
And how,
What was that?
how do we share the information with them? Just by sharing these documents as we see it, or what we produce as a group?
I'll be doing a PowerPoint
Okay.
presentation. It'll be, I don't know, it'll be 10, 15 minutes while we're doing the plan, what the plan is, and the highlights of the goals and objectives. Hoping we can start kind of just a general discussion between the attendees to generate some ideas. I don't want to be doing all the talking for an hour. But it's kind of required as part of the plan to have some kind of workshop or forum or however you want to term it, listening session. So my thought is May 17th. Again, that's a Monday night.
How well attended would you expect that to be? Have you done anything like that since COVID has begun?
Not since COVID started, no, not like this. I know Shrewsbury did one last fall, and they had about 30 attendees.
Wow.
With a town staff, so maybe it was 20 or 25 attendees. If we can get 10 or 15 people to show up, plus the committee, that would be fantastic. We did one with the master plan committee when that was being done 2 years ago. We had about 20 people there.
Great.
But that was
How does that get advertised? Just Facebook or the town website?
yes. And I'll ask the cable staff, they can throw it up on the channel.
And when we go to tell others about that date, of course, tentatively, pending on your confirmation, how would we tell them to log in or get access?
I can put together a flyer of some kind that'll have all the information.
Great. Does that date work for everyone present today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that works
So
for
it'll
me.
be all done by remote, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, that's after town meeting. That's not a selectman night, so
Maybe you can advertise at town meeting.
yeah. I could ask the town manager to either make an announcement or maybe have some flyers available.
Great.
But I'll start working on the presentation and the flyer soon.
So just to follow up on what Steve had asked before, is it possible to go back to the results and just insert the percentages on the pie chart so we can visualize and have statistical data present so that we can see them comprehensively, the results?
Yeah, I can do that.
Adam, would you like us to give you some more work as well? It sounds like you're going to be busy for a little while. I don't know if there's anything we can do to help you with that, but
No, I think I got it covered. Between this and the MVP project, that's kind of encompassing a lot of my time, but that's all right.
well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes,
You're
thank you
welcome.
very much.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, that was all. That was the last thing I think I had.
Okay, so can we make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Night.